Why, hello there, my filmer dude. Sorry that I feel so pompous in my cardigan. And honestly, I don't know if I'm doing this correctly. I don't know. I'm a photographer, but I don't know what I'm doing. Hello, my little filmer dudes. Thank you for joining me on my journey to watch every TV show ever created, and we have certainly got close in 2024. I'm gonna give you 4 seconds to guess, not really. I watched 89 2024 TV shows in the last year. A couple of them have like 2 seasons, like The Floor and That 90s Show. And a couple other ones like Abbott Elementary and Ghosts, they have others that started in the year, but we're not gonna count those that are still ongoing because those are technically 2025 shows, because the rule is whichever year holds the most episodes, that's the year in which the TV show belongs to. So that's the rule we're gonna go with. And with that being said, 89 TV shows. That's 4 up from last, 4 or 5? That's either 4 or 5 up from last year. We're making progress. But with that being said, I have watched 89. So my list may be completely different from other people's lists because some people have only watched like 20. Some people have only watched like 11. I've watched 89, and that's not including shows that I've seen from other years and are now included into this one. Like, I saw The Boys season 1 through 3 for the first time this past year. So I've certainly seen a lot more shows than 89. Let's find that final total. 118. I watched 118 shows. So again, in the past 4 years, I watched over 400 shows. I think I know my decisions to be strong, and I hold on to those. So that being said, we're gonna go over the best 30 TV shows of 2024 because certainly there was a lot more good than bad in 2024. And a lot of the times I will watch certain bad shows all the way through just to say I've watched them all. But then there are other times where I will start something and be like, nope. No, but we're not talking about bad, we're talking about the good. We're talking about the 30 best TV shows of this year. Disclaimers, we are excluding shows from Apple TV Plus, because I don't have Apple TV Plus, AMC Plus, I think is what it's called, and Stars, because who the frick has Stars? And I only watched about 6 or 5 max TV shows just because I got it at the end of the year, and I had a list what I wanted to watch, and I watched them. So this next year I'm gonna watch a lot more max shows. It's just I only did what I could do. And last disclaimer, I have not seen Shogun yet. I'm gonna see it this year. I just have not been able to watch it. It's a show that I said I was gonna watch with Mike, so Mike and I were gonna watch it, and we'll let you know what we think once it's done. That certainly would be in the top 10 for sure. I hear it's really good. It's just time. The final front, that's not the quote. We're gonna go through these 20 pretty quickly. So going from 30 on down, we have Interior Chinatown, a love letter to screenwriting and television. Interior Chinatown is more of an allegory than a sci-fi series. The ending is a little weak in my opinion. You can totally have your cake and eat it to Taika Waititi. You just gotta wait for that cake to bake. It's still super funny, super fun, super interesting. It just doesn't stick the landing as well as I'd like it to. Then we have Arcane Season 2. Listen, I loved the art style, but the story heavily lacked thanks to the chaotic pacing and the abundance of music videos, which got tiring for me pretty fast. Regardless, the action, whenever we actually got some action, was once again eye-catching and certainly impressive. I think I was just more disappointed with the story execution, which is why it's so low on my list. Then we have English Teacher. Brian Jordan Alvarez created a show that feels like the love child of AP Bio and Abbott Elementary. Honestly, this is a very warm and funny show that happens to have an LGBT lead, but isn't in your face about it. Yet it's still a central part of his character. A normal day in the life of a teacher who just happens to be LGBT. Nobody wants this, an honest and refreshing take on Romeo and Juliet if you think about it. What got my attention was the religious versus non-religious aspect between our main leads and the discussions that happen whenever two opposing worlds fall in love with each other. A man on the inside. If you're a Michael Schur fan or a The Good Place fan, you'll like this show. What a brilliant concept, making a spy comedy in a retirement home. I'm high-key sad that this didn't make my top 10 cut. It totally deserves it. Then we have the Traitors US Season 2. Admittedly, it's not as good as Season 1. Season 1 was perfect, but still a very thrilling season and a great watch if you like psychology, mind games, and game shows. The Traitors US Season 2 delivers, but was I too disappointed with the ending to give it any higher? Then we have Baby Reindeer. This show took the world by storm when it came out, and I'm glad it got the recognition that it so clearly deserves. If you don't know Baby Reindeer, I would say you're lying. Where have you been? I highly recommend this show, even as a way to keep current on what's going on societally. Then we have Colin from Accounts Season 2, a great follow-up to a solid Season 1, though not as funny or as compelling as Season 1 because I kind of feel like they're losing steam on where to go from here. Still super funny, and I think that they should definitely wrap things up in Season 3. Then we have Abbott Elementary Season 3. Honestly, Season 3 is so good, but Season 4, wow. I mean, Season 3 is amazing. It's so good. Season 3 evidently jogged so that Season 4 could sprint. Also, Season 3 gave us one of the best episodes of Abbott Elementary to date, and that being the finale episode, Party. Then we have Unstable Season 2, canceled too soon. Rob Lowe and John Owen Lowe team up yet again for another hilarious season of their absolutely chaotic show, Unstable. I don't know, man. I had a lot of fun watching it. Plus, they did have John Owen Lowe shirtless in Season 1, so I might be biased. Then we have We Were the Lucky Ones. Oh my god, another show I desperately want in my top 10. This show is heavy, and the performances, Emmy worthy. I am just sad that this show isn't getting enough recognition in any of the awards, but maybe you guys can give it some love. Extraordinary Season 2, so freaking funny. I actually liked Season 2 more than Season 1, which I didn't think would happen. Wonderfully written, Jen's story continues in a hilarious and emotional second season and sets up a wild Season 3. Ghost Season 3. The writer's strike, I feel, affected Season 3 a bit, but still they managed to pull out another strong season and teed up Season 4 awesomely. I really do like what they had in Season 3. It's just, you really did feel a lot of the behind the scenes in the season. Only Murders in the Building Season 4. I love this show. I made weekly videos for Only Murders and had a great time. Just saying, I was right before everyone else all the way in episode 1. Super relatable season for me as an indie screenwriter and director, so perhaps I might be biased. But again, I did guess it exactly in episode 1. The Anonymous, a social experiment done right. Physical challenges like any other game show, but with the added caveat that everyone at the end of the day gets to anonymously talk smack about the other players. I ate this up. Solar Opposites Season 5. Season 5 feels more like a softer reboot than Season 4 does. I don't know what it is about this season, but if you want to bring someone onto Solar Opposites, I'd honestly start them out at Season 4 and then quickly move on to Season 5 because it's just so good. Then we got The Penguin, and the only reason why this didn't make it on my top 10 list is because I feel like this will make everyone's top 10 list. I'm also not really that big of a Batman guy. Regardless, I think the show is incredible, spectacular. I just didn't know what else to say that's not already been said by everyone else. You know it's good. I know it's good. It deserves the recognition. I just think I can spotlight other things that other people may not know. Heartstopper Season 3. This season broke me yet again. Season 2, in my opinion, was a little weak. It felt stagnant throughout most, but Season 3, wow, another show I wanted on my top 10 list. Still, this is absolutely deserving of all of the attention. I just also thought that this might make a lot of people's top 10 lists. Then we have High Potential, and this one's a little bit of a cheat because the show isn't really over yet, but just the 7 episodes that were released in 2024 were mind-blowing. I don't know why, but it worked for me. I loved it. But I'm so excited for it to come back weekly. And then we have High Hopes. I also wanted this in my top 10 and it just missed out. High Hopes is a documentary about a cannabis store in LA. It's hilarious. It's a grand time, and I actually want a season 2. I don't know how, but I want a season 2. All right, so those were the top 30 through 11, and now we're at the number 10. Number 10. My Adventures with Superman Season 2. Listen, like I said, I almost had both the Penguin and High Hopes on this list, and both deservingly so. However, I thought I would spotlight another equally amazing superhero show that won't get enough attention because the Penguin is eating up all of the attention, and again, deservingly so. It's a great crime drama. However, My Adventure with Superman Season 1 was already amazing, but as someone who doesn't really like Superman that much, Season 2 had me in happy tears. Happy tears! I was cheering by the end, not just for Clark, but for Lois, for Jimmy Olsen, and for Spoiler. Not like the character spoiler, but there's a spoiler character. This season brought so many new characters to the Adventures with Soups universe from the comics, and I honestly think they brought them on accurately. The essence of their characters were right there, and when I was watching, I was like, that's them. That is them. That is exactly them, and I'm so excited. If only I felt this way about James Gunn's universe. This show single-handedly made me a Superman fan because of how relatable they were able to write Clark, and that's hard to do. I'm super excited for season 3. I'm super excited for potential season 4. I want it to keep going. Let's just make more seasons. I don't mind. In number 9, we have Hacks Season 3. Now, if you've seen my best TV of 2023, you'll know that Marvelous Mrs. Maisel Season 5 was my favorite TV season of last year. Give me a comedy show about a woman comedian trying to make it big and you got me hooked. You got me hooked for years. Hacks Season 3 takes what I believe to be the strongest season so far and elevates it with the directing, the writing, the performances. From this moment forward, I will genuinely find any opportunity to talk about Hannah Einbinder and her speech in episode 9. She 100% deserves any award that she has coming her way. If I could vote for her, I would. Because holy cow, my filmer dudes. Holy cow. And if you've seen Hacks Season 3 up to episode 9, then you know exactly which speech. And then that final scene, oh my God, you could cut the tension with a butter knife. You could cut it with a plastic knife. And I'm so happy because Hacks was renewed for season 4, so I'm gonna have a very good year. If it comes out this year, I don't know if it's gonna come out this year, but it'll be a good year when it does. In number 8, we have Fallout Season 1. Now, I haven't played any of the games, but I have watched a lot of lore Fallout videos. Fallout Season 1 did so well out of the gate that Amazon renewed it for a second season so fast. Not only that, it also won the best video game adaptation in the Game Awards for 2024. Yes, I did watch the Game Awards. Yes, I was confused as to what was going on, but I kind of knew. I kind of knew that Fallout would win over Arcane. I mean, as you could see, I preferred Fallout over Arcane, but ooh, them Arcane fans were livid. But I really got to think about it. Is this Fallout Season 1 versus Arcane Season 2? If it were Arcane Season 1, hands down, Arcane Season 1 would absolutely win. This is Arcane Season 2. Season 2 had those twists, and they weren't that good. But still, the fact that Ella Parnell are in both of these shows and we're deliberating which one is better, it's amazing for her. She has already cemented her career for life. Hopefully not as a video game girl, just as a girl who has mad acting talent. Holy cow. Coming in at number 7 is Big Boys Season 2. Now this one kind of crept up on me towards the end of last year. I think it was November. And if you don't already know, I love British and Australian shows. They're mostly all fun times, for me at least. Plus, I love the dark humor that they have. Big Boys. What a sweet hidden gem that this was, and I'm so glad that I found it. And I know I say this often, but this show was entirely made for me, and I love that the creator, Jack Rook, was able to just tell his story. He was able to do the thing that any creator wants to do with storytelling. He is a storyteller, and he was also able to touch a lot of viewers out there with his personal story. And I mean, when I say this was made for me, it's like this was during a time when this person when these people are in college in 2014, 2015. That I graduated in 2014 and I started going to college. I think it was 15. I also did a gap year, so I saw myself very much in this show. And I think that this show, I would give this a lot higher if I could, and I might later on, depending on how I feel. But this is a coming of age story for Jack as he's coming to terms with his sexuality, his relationship with his mother and his newfound friends, and coming to terms with the death of his father. And this is very heavy. This is a very heavy show. I mean, I was sobbing by the end of the show. There's one scene, and I don't know how to describe it, but it reminds me of my mom. I think the show handles hardships beautifully. And I think it's not afraid to tackle those hardships. It's not afraid to go there. And I just think it's great. And I think it does deserve to be insanely high on this list. It gets me every time, man. It's And at number 6, we have X-Men 97. For the longest time, I had this show as my number 1. It was mind-blowing, dude. When it comes to adapting comic content with such reverence, with such respect and pure love for the source material, you're gonna get X-Men 97, a nearly perfect show. And in fact, I would say that it is pretty much perfect. Just a couple issues, and there was just a couple speed bumps. They're not issues. It was just a couple speed bumps. But here's the thing. As someone who did not enjoy the animated series, I have not seen it growing up. I was more of an X-Men Evolution dude. So I started watching X-Men X-Men the animated series this past, I think last year, and I couldn't finish it. I couldn't do it. It wasn't good. But I did watch season 5 this past year so that I can, be caught up, be aware as to what was going on with 97. And oh my God, I should have recorded my reaction because I sobbed so much during episode 5, and you know which one, the Gambit episode. Oh goodness me gracious. And I'm not even upset that they changed a lot of the things when it comes to Genosha. Oh goodness me gracious, I loved it. The drama, the emotion, they're palpable. And there were so many moments where I was legit the Leonardo meme where they would recreate the comic book panel. I'm like, that's it. They did it. They did the thing. And I was just mind blown. Just again, what? Just a reverence to the comic. I deserve a pine berry. And honestly, I find it kind of hilarious and ironic. The Pineberry did not go down well. And I find it ironic and hilarious that Deadpool and Wolverine used Cassandra Nova as the main villain, and I think she was squandered. But then we have X-Men 97 and their changes. I don't really want to reveal what happens exactly, but those changes happen and I'm not upset. That's how good the show is. That's because it's the writing. It is the writing that matters. And Bo DeMayo's a fan. I don't know. It seems like we had a very perfect thing going, and now Disney kind of might ruin it. So I'm a little worried, but X-Men 97 is gonna be so good. X-Men fans, we're eating good. Now we're in our top 5, and in number 5 we have Ted this series. Oh my God, this is the comedy of the year. If I were doing awards, I would 100% put Ted the series as the best comedy sitcom of 2024. I have watched season 1 just countless times now, definitely 7 times. Well, I tried to watch it once per month. I kind of stopped halfway through the year, and then I started watching them as like filler episodes and then with people to introduce them and then add to sleep at night. So I've seen it a lot at this point. And I would die on the hill that Ted the series is better than Ted the movie, which is a great movie, but the series explores John in a time in his life before he becomes an adult loser, and then we get to see how he gets to that point. We get to see all of the inner jokes becoming a thing from Ted, and honestly, it works. People are calling this the live action American Dad, live action Family Guy, and I've never seen either, but I do say this is a live action sitcom for adults. It's so freaking good. Oh my gosh. There are so many quotable lines in this, and the fact that I watched this when it first came out and I didn't think it was gonna be that good, and it was good. And I kept telling people to watch it, and people did not discover this until months later. And I just felt happy that everybody else was discovering it. But I kid you not, if you watch the show, you might love it. You might not like it because you're gonna love it. I'm kidding. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing, but this is hands down my favorite comedy to come out this past year, and season 2 is coming out this year. I think it's gonna be so freaking good. Coming in number 4 is Squid Game season 2. Oh my god, this one was actually tough to decide between this, Agatha, or do I put this at number 1? Do I put this at number 2? Do I put this at number 3? I don't know where to put Squid Game season 2 because by the end of the show, yes, I will admit I felt a little conflicty, but after writing about season 1 and settling with it, I'm fully okay with that cliffhanger ending. I'm fully okay with everything that happened. I absolutely loved season 2 of Squid Game. I am baffled, absolutely perplexed as to why people don't enjoy it. I mean, I do know why. I do know why. And I find it hilarious that so many of you have fallen into that trap. It's the whole point of Squid Game. And I think just because of that fact, that Squid Game deserves a clap, a round of applause, a pat on the back, and a good on you, sir. Plus, we are getting season 3 in 2025. It was recently announced that it is coming in 2025, and I don't know how I knew that, but I knew. I think they had said previously before, so when everyone's like, now we're gonna have to wait for 3 freaking years for season 3, I'm like, no, they filmed season 2 and 3 back to back. This was public knowledge. So to me, I was like, oh, cool, this cliffhanger, but it's only gonna be a few more months. So I really have no complaints at all. What we're watching this season is a beautiful, I'd even say masterful example of modern day human society, no matter the culture. Sociology and psychology in perfect harmony. We're watching people deliberate and be baffled as to why the other side would vote the way that they would. And the season is about the effects of corporate capitalism. It's all a cycle, and I'm honestly all for personal capitalism to a moderate degree. Greed is greed, my guy. But you also need to get what you work. You only get out whatever you put in. Work for your shit. But like I said, I feel that people are missing the whole point of Squid Game season 2 because what they want is to be entertained with blind violence, blind blood, and gore. Almost like the bigwigs who are watching the games in the show. Ooh, did the season hit a little too close to home for you and you just didn't know why? I'll call you out on it. It's genius. Plus, my parents taught me the Spanish versions of these mini games growing up. So I had that personal connection to the games, which probably elevated the season for me. When I saw player 149 playing with what were essentially jacks, remember those? With ball and the things? I saw my own mom and I was on the edge of my seat. I mean, I was on the edge of my seat throughout the entire show, but I just specifically there because my mom was the best jacks player in her school, and she takes pride in that. And we had a jack set growing up, and my mom was really good. And then my dad, he taught me trompas, which are the Spanish version of tops, of spinning tops. And getting those tops to spin, way easier said than done. So I understood the frustration, the fact that you have to get it perfect, because you really do have to get it perfect. So hard. All of these games are actually difficult to play. So because of that, this season elevated dramatically for me. Visually, this show is amazing. The set, oh my god, the costuming, and the performances from the entire cast, phenomenal. I wrote a full review on Serialized, so you can go catch that there later at a different time. But now, my number 3. Coming in at number 3 is Agatha All Along, and I get to talk about Agatha All Along now. Between this and Wicked, it's a good year for witches. I genuinely didn't think that anything could be as good as WandaVision, but here we are with the spiritual successor. Literally, the spiritual successor. Sure, there are a few nitpicky things that feel a little wonky to me, and honestly, it's first-time director things. It's not bad, but the rest of the show, absolutely spotless, perfect, immaculate. Have y'all seen Agatha's behind the scene on YouTube? I don't know why it's not on Disney Plus. If it is on Disney Plus now, sure, but I don't know why it's not on Disney Plus. I think they put it on YouTube as an attempt to get people to be like, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna go sign up for Disney Plus and go watch it. But so many people were waiting for that to appear on Disney Plus. It was bizarre, but I watched it and I just fell in love with the show more and more. So many things were done practically. This is filmmaking. And honestly, I have watched this show 4 times this year. It is so freaking good. Oh my gosh. And that's literally all thanks to Jack Schaefer. Literally give her the keys to the mystical realm and lock Sam Raimi out forever. Episode 7, man. Joe Locke picked good because episode 7 is actually also my favorite episode because what? I was in shock. I was in shock by the end of that episode. And you'll know which one. The tower reversed is all I'm gonna say. I was in absolute shock. I sat there and it took a couple seconds, but I actually started crying heavy. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but that was beautiful. And I didn't think that it would get even more emotional, but then Jack Schaefer said, hold my box of tissues. Here's episode 9. And I fully sobbed. If Kathryn Hahn doesn't win an award for this show, that would be an actual crime. She is Agatha. It's mind-blowing. It truly is. And she very much is one of the best people on the planet. Have you seen any of her interviews? She is just a treasure. I love her. She is mother. Kathryn Hahn is mother. Sorry, Elizabeth Olsen fans, but I think I might side with Agatha a little bit. Also, do you see my weekend crown? It's right there. It's right here. It has like glue dots to keep it up, so I'm not gonna grab it, but it's right there. I'm so excited. Oh my God, dude. Like the Agatha All Along. It deserves to win all of the awards. It deserves to win all of the awards. And if it doesn't, I'm a riot. If she doesn't win, I'm leaving. And now my number 2. I actually had this in my number 1 at some point, and then I saw a little like recap of my actual number 1, and I thought, nope, that is my number 1. But in number 2 is Elsbeth season 1. And don't ever mention season 2 because season 2 is just as good as season 1. I made a review about Elsbeth, and I think I say everything that I need to say in that episode, but all you need to know is that there is a type of police procedural or murder mysteries called CASHAPPs, not whodunits. In whodunits, you try to figure out who done it. And in CASHAPPs, you know who did the deed, and you're seeing how they captured the criminal. A few famous examples are Columbo, Monk, Poker Face, and now Elsbeth. And if you know what's good for you, you're gonna watch Elsbeth because Elsbeth is so funny. It's such a charming show. It's heartwarming. And the fact that this show is, in my opinion, instantly becomes a classic because of Elsbeth deserves its spot in the almost number 1. Honestly, I can actually see myself a lot in Elsbeth. She is quirky, she is cute, she is misunderstood, and I love her. I love her so much. I want to hang out with Elsbeth. Plus her outfits, oh my goodness, so much fun. Can I go shopping with her, please? But the reason why this makes it so high on my list and why it almost made my number 1 is because this is technically a spin-off of The Good Wife, and you don't need to watch The Good Wife to understand this show. There are 7 seasons worth of homework that you don't need to do to enjoy this show. Take notes, Disney Star Wars, take notes. We'll definitely be talking season 2 when it's over next May, and it'll likely make my list next year. So we'll see what spot it goes on, but honestly, season 2 is just as good as season 1, if not better, because if you're a fan of Sherlock Holmes and Professor Moriarty, watch Elsbeth. And finally, in number 1, which solidifies my list once and for all, we have the Traitors UK Season 2. Y'all, I don't talk about the Traitors enough as a franchise, as my lifestyle, as it's being a part of who I am as an individual, as a TV guy. Because when I saw Traitors season 1, I became obsessed. US season 1 is perfect in my opinion, and I recently rewatched it. Heartbreaking just as much as the first time. And I'm gonna rewatch a couple of the other seasons, but I've seen all 7 available seasons on Peacock. 2 UK, 2 US, 2 Australian, and 1 New Zealand. Apparently there's a Canadian one out there, and I'm gonna go find it. Each season has been a journey in their own right, but there are 2 seasons I don't necessarily enjoy, and that's Australia season 2 and UK season 1. But the 2 best seasons are US season 1 and UK season 2. And honestly, it was difficult for me to decide which one is better. But I literally today I watched a recap of the winner, and I was reminded of what happens, because some of them kind of get muddled. But I was reminded of what happens in this season, and I just instantly remembered everything, and I remembered, no, this is my favorite season of my favorite show of this year because of the drama, the twist, the masterful tact that these characters, that these players had. It is absolutely mind-blowing. Honestly, I cannot imagine having friends by the end of any of the seasons. And both UK and US The Traitors have season 3 coming out in 2025, and I'm so excited. But this year, The Traitors has been a feast for me because I caught up on other ones, and then I think 2 came out this year. Oh my God, I ate good. Eat with me next year, my filmer dudes. Eat with me. So that is it. That is my top 10 list. That's my top 30. My top 30 shows of 2024. But geez, this is a very long video. But I thank you for sticking it out with me. You guys might be mad that some of your favorite shows didn't end up on this list, but hey, this is my list. These are the type of shows that I enjoy. Be on the lookout for my worst TV of last year. It's definitely not gonna be as big. We're only doing 15 shows. But we are also doing, this is an idea from Austin Burke, like an honorable mention. These are just 16 more shows that I would recommend that didn't make the cut. So be on the lookout for all of these, including the best and worst for movies, and I will see you next time. You've just been modified. My social media links are in the description.